Hello guys, thank you for tuning in. This is GK here from your weekly investment channel. Markets are now closed. It was a very ugly market today. I would say markets have gone down um, pretty low. Um, we discussed this point earlier this morning that it is going to be very bad. The SPY did not even bounce. The SPY went down, more than what we anticipated. I thought 400 will be the point, but it kind of went down to 398 and later on bounced to 399. So um, I think the markets are kind of anticipating a bigger interest rate hike, and and also anticipating some effects on that on every industry possible. They are talking about the R words again. It's not going to be a soft landing anymore. So let's take a look at the market action today and go from there. So, so we are looking at the market action today. The market started after a long weekend, right? In the US, markets were closed on Monday, and it opened up, you know, this morning. So prior to that opening, the pre-market, the markets were trading. The SPI was trading around 403, but post-market session, the lows of the day was 398.82. That you're seeing here, right? It started here, and then midday it was here, right? And then right at the 3 o'clock level, the market hit the lows of 398.82, and then later on settling at 4 o'clock, it is at 399. So the damage has been done, right? Let me go to the daily chart. This is the daily chart, and let me kind of put some highlights here. Give me a second. I just drew a fib. I think this was there earlier last week. I did go over this fib. So the 50% retracement is a very key level that normally the market makers will look at, including huge investors will look at. The 50% was 405, and that we breached last week. It's 405, right? So so that was a huge break. I thought it'll recover, but it did not recover at all. Let me zoom in. Right, this is a 405 level I was talking about. 405 level, the market, the SPY did not hold it up. It did not hold that area, not even for a day. And it never stopped at 405 for even a day or two or something like that. It kind of completely slid down. Um, you know, and then today is the day when it is broke 400 level. So you know, it's not good, at least for this week. The SPI should have held for 405, or it should have bounced back. For some reason, last week, some of the uh, Fed governor's speech, they said that they are going to have a higher rate of increase, right? So that means people are trying to readjust, they're selling it, and they want to, basically keep the cash in other assets. Um, and And the biggest hit was, the retail has been hit hard this week, and also hit the tech sector. The tech also gained a lot, right? Commodities are getting weak, with the exception of the crude oil. Um, you know, the gold is kind of, did not lose as much. We will look at the bonds in a bit, but net, the 405 is a key area, short term at least. Um, and long term, definitely, we have a long way to go. If you look at the highs to lows, um, short term, right? If you look at daily, high to low 462 versus 400. It's a double digit loss, right? In the SPY. But even in the short term, it went up to 418 and then it has given up about $18 in SPY. Um, it seemed to be, it doesn't want to go back above 418, right? See, the earliest or the latest, it was high at as high as 430 was in August of last year, right? It never touched the 430 range. SPY did not touch it. And then the next high was this. This is like a lower, and then it went to low, and again it went down up to here, right? 411, and then it is going down. Will it go to 375? And by when, right? Is March 15 or end of March, do we see the new low of 375? Or is it going to go down further? Is the question everybody has, right? Um, I think market data will definitely give some answers to that. At this point, the retail numbers, even though they were decent, but some of them were not good. The retail is kind of hit hard. Let's look at QQQ, right? QQQ will also follow the same pattern. It's almost in the same line, right? So let's draw a fib on that. Let's look at this fib on the QQQ, that is the tech index, right? The same scenario, right? The QQQ reached up to the 50% fib and it gave up, right? Just want to highlight that. It is just not SPY, but also the QQQs. But remember, SPI has major holdings as tech. So QQQ obviously has heavy tech. So it will replicate how SPY is behaving. So let's look at other sectors, right? Semiconductors, SMH. SMH, it's also on the same level, but it is much better. It did not go below 50% fib, right? The 50% fib is somewhere here, 220 area, right? At least it is right now. It went above 61.8 fib and was very close to getting to the all-time high, right? But it has given up all those in the last few days, and it is now, probably will get to the 50% fib level. So SMH is also on the same pattern as SPY and QQQ. So net, I think the markets are not confident that it needs to go up. There are more sellers than buyers at this point. But I know there are, some hedge fund managers still want to buy this market. They are buying a lot of these most beaten down stocks. I think intraday traders definitely they know how to make money by either selling the stock market or buying. So for long-term players, I know there are some of you don't have time to really trade during the day. You should put some predefined level, and some value stocks you probably have to put in auto trade and buy small pieces of it, right? Definitely there is a lot of potential in this market. Instead of putting the funds into your regular account where you get 3 or 4%, um, but even the rising interest rates is not guaranteeing that it's going to give you good savings rate. So unless you commit for long term, right? So long term, I'm sure this is going to really improve. Long term, you need to be invested in the markets. So definitely, market is the way to go. So having said that, I would like to give you some insight into what might happen tomorrow, right? SPY needs to really stay here. It needs to go sideways. Um, we see there are some um, opportunities, in the 50-day moving. Right now, the 200-day is going to be 393, um, and uh, and the 100-day is going to be around 389. So these are all the three I'm looking at. First is going to be this level here. It is slightly below where we are. And the second, the 200-day is like 393. And the third, it is going to be 389 before it can hit the all-time lows in the last year, right? In December, whatever lows we hit, that is something in the 375 area, right? Um, Before we can hit that, once it hits 375, the market is going to go down to 348, right? The all-time low in the last few years, right? So if you look at it on the 3-year weekly chart, right? 351 was the area that we saw lows. When did we see that? October of last year, right? 348.11 bottom, uh, 10/13/2022, right? That is this area here. I'm talking about last 3 years, guys. But if you look at last 10 years, um, so last 10 years, let's add last 10-year weekly, right? I think 148 was low. That is super low, guys. So I think market cannot withstand that deep lows, right? But this is the whole pattern looks like lower, lower, and lower highs, right? Lower highs again, lower highs, and it went up. It was trying to go sideways, but again, markets are sold off, right? Unless we have some good news, these markets are going to be really, going sideways for a few days till it has a definite 370 level is when I'm thinking it could find some support, but short term it might be very volatile, and the markets are getting sold off. Earnings support needs to be there. If the earning supports are not there, then market will be a free flow, free fall. I would say, right? But having said that, that's all the end of the day update I have for you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you like this video, please subscribe, and talk to you guys again tomorrow in the pre-market updates. Thank you again, guys. Stay tuned. Cheers.